na cha shrotro jiyube, na cha gnana netre, na cha bhuvi na te janabhai, chidananda Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda, Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda, Shivoham, Shivoham. Naja prana sampuri panchugayu Nava sapta dhatu Nava panchugosa Nava panipadam Naja pastubhayu Chidana Garupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Name Vishurago, Name Logo, Vaduni Bobini Masaya Nadarma Nacharto Nakamo Namo Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Na punyang na papang na sukham na dukham na mandra na tirtha na veda na janya ambujanam na jisabojam na bhutta chidana Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Name tu nasanka Jati Leda Vida Noiva Me Noiva Mada Nadan Navaru Namidran Guru Aiva Shishwa Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Aham Nita Nirakara Rupam Vibhutya Sarvatra Chidanandarupa Shivam Shivam Chidanandarupa Shivam Shivam Chidanandarupa Shivam Shiva, Shiva,
আমরা এখন বেদমন্ত্র পাঠ করবো. We shall now do the chanting. All of you please participate. Om Bhagme Manasi Pratishtita Mano Me Vachi Pratishtita.
ॐ वाग्मे मनोऽसि
वाग्मिमनोऽसि
प्रतिष्ठितं
मनोमि
मनो
वाचि
मे वाचि
प्रतिष्ठितम्
प्रतिष्ठितम्
Abhi me de
आभिः आभिः
आभिः
मेधि
मेधि
Vedasyamani staha Shrutam me ma prahasiha.
वेदस्य
वेदस्य
मानिस्तः
मानिस्तः
श्रुतं मे मा
श्रुतं मे मा
बृहसिः
प्रहसिह
मे मा
Aninoditeno
बृहसिः
ratram samdadami.
अनेनोऽधितेनो
अनेनोदितेनो
अहोरात्रं
अहोरात्रं
सन्दधामि
Ritang Bodhiswami Satyang Bodhiswami
ह्रीतं
प्रीतं
वदिस्वामी
वदिस्वामी
सत्यं
सत्यं
वदिस्वामी
वदिस्वामी
Tadmamabhatu Tadvaktaramabhatu
तत्मामवतु
तत्माङवतु
तद्वक्तारमवतु
तद्वक्तारमवतु
Avatu mam avatu bhaktaram avatu bhaktaram
अवतु
अवतु
माम् अवतु
भक्तारम्
भक्तारम्
अवतु
अवतु
भक्तारम्
भक्तारम्
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ॐ
शान्ति
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्ति शान्तिः
शान्तिः
Om Ayantu Mamangani Bhakranah Chukshu.
ॐ
उपयन्तु
अपयन्तु मम
ममाङ्गानि
अङ्गानि
वाक्प्राणचक्षुः
वाक्प्राणचक्षुः
Shrotramatah balam indriyani cha sarvani.
श्रोत्रमतः
श्रोत्रमतः
बलेन्द्रियाणि
बलम्
च
इन्द्रियाणि च
सर्वाणि
सर्वाणि
Sarvyam Brahmo Shodhi Oshopanishadam.
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
सर्वब्रह्मोपनिषद
Maham Brahmo Nirakuriyat Mama Brahmo Nirakaro.
माहं
माहं
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
निरकुर्यात्
निरकुर्यात्
मम
माम
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म निरकरोत्
निरकरोत्
Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranamyastu.
निराकरणमस्तु
अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणमस्तु
निराकरणमस्तु
धर्मस्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु
धर्मास्ते
धर्मस्ते
धर्मस्ते
मयि
मयि
सन्तु ते
सन्तु ते
मयि
मयि
सन्तु
सन्तु।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ॐ
ॐ
शान्तिः शान्तिः
शान्ति शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्तिः।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते
ॐ
ॐ
पूर्णमादः
पूर्णमदः
पूर्णमिदं
पूर्णमिदं
पूर्णात्
पूर्णात्
पूर्णमुदच्यते
पूर्णम् उदच्यते
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेव अवशिष्यते
पूर्णस्य
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय
पूर्णमादाय
पूर्णमेव
पूर्णमुदच्यते
अवशिष्यते।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ॐ
ॐ
शान्तिः
शान्ति शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्तिः।
ओम सहनो भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु
ॐ
ॐ
सहनो भवतु सहनौ
सहनावतु
भुनक्तु
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
सह
सह
वीर्यं
वीर्यं
करवावहै
करवावहै।
तेजस्विनो अधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
तेजस्विनो
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
अधीतमस्तु
मा
मा
विद्विषावहै
विद्विषावहै।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ॐ
ॐ शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्तिः।
ओम शं मित्रः शं वरुणः शं नो भवति हरिओमः
ॐ
ॐ
शं नो
शं नो
मित्रः
मिरः
शं
शं
वरुणः
वरुणः शं
शं
नो
भवति
भवति
अर्यमः
हरिओमः।
शं नो इन्द्रः बृहस्पतिः शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः
शं
शं
नो
नो
इन्द्रः
इन्द्रः बृहस्पतिः शं नो
विष्णुरुक्रमः
विष्णुरुक्रमः।
नमः ब्रह्मणे नमः देवाय
नमः
नमो ब्रह्मणे
ब्रह्मणे
महदेवाय।
त्वमेव त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि
त्वमेव
त्वमेव
प्रत्यक्षं
प्रत्यक्षं
ब्रह्मासि
ब्रह्मोऽसि।
त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
त्वमेव
त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं
प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म
वदिष्यामि
वदिष्यामि।
रीतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि
रीतं
रीतं
वदिष्यामि
सत्यं
सत्यं वदिष्यामि।
वदिष्यामि
तद्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु
तन्मामवतु
तत्माङवतु
तद्वक्तारमवतु
तद्वक्तारमवतु।
अवतु मां
अवतु
अवतु मां वक्तारम्।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ॐ
ॐ
शान्तिः
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्ति शान्तिः।
शान्तिः
ओम भद्रं कर्णे विष्णवाम देवा
ॐ
ॐ
भद्रं
भद्रं
कर्णेभिः
कर्णेभिः
शृण्वाम
शृण्वां देवा
भद्रं पुष्टिमाक्षवीययोत्रा
भद्रं
भद्रं
पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः
पश्येमाक्षवीययुताहं
श्रीरुयं
वीरयङ्गै तुष्टवांसुतनुभिः
सुतनुभिः
वशीमदेवहीतं यतायु
वशेमदेवहितं
वशेमदेवहितं
यतायु
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ
ॐ
शान्ति
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्तिः
আমরা আজ আমাদের আলোচনায় প্রবেশ করছি। আজকে আমাদের আলোচনার প্রসঙ্গ দ্য স্পিরিচুয়াল সায়েন্সেস, অধ্যাত্ম বিজ্ঞান। আজ আমাদের ডিজিটাল সানডে মোডে 230তম পর্ব, 230th session of this divine life talk through the digital mode. Today I'm going to speak in English from Delhi, and the topic will be explained from time to time in Bengali also in the middle of it. First of all, we need to understand what does the term science means. There is an institution which is a global institution which is associated with the Nobel, meaning Alfred Nobel Committee. It's not a part of the committee, but it's connected with them, and they have, an observation on the concept of science. There is the concept of science, or for the meaning of science given by the Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries. There is also some explanations on the science given by, during the period of Albert Einstein by Princeton, University of Princeton. And there are certain observations about science by the scholar, European scholar, one of the most leading in the world, European scholar, Bertrand Russell. And of course, the basic fundamental foundation concept of that has been mentioned by Sir Isaac Newton. I'll take the, definition of Sir Isaac Newton primarily, and also I'll take the, definition which supports that of Bertrand Russell. These two definitions are actually globally accepted definition everywhere without any kind of dispute raised by anybody until today. And I guess nobody will raise a, kind of dispute on that, can raise, because if you have to raise a dispute, you have to grow, superior to what Isaac Newton was. If you can, you can. So the point that Sir Isaac Newton has mentioned in his Principia Mathematica, I just mentioned that mathematics is something which determines the framework of science. And if you have to understand science, then you have to understand the principles of mathematics. And while mentioning the principles of mathematics in the first, second, and elaborating on the topic in the third chapter of Principia, what is mentioned is it is the spirit, not the structure of the depictions in the universe that actually refers to scientific study. And he has mentioned science is not just structural representation of things and getting the things proved by experiments, is but somewhat beyond, where you have an experiment, you have an experience also. So science is something which has got an experiment on one hand and experience on the other hand. There are two approaches to understand truth in the material world. One approach is you try to do the experiment and prove the theory behind the experiment and come to a conclusive point based on the theory. And the other one is, some subtle matter of the world that you try to experience, and through your experience, you try to understand. I just support the view with, one of the great scholars of the European world and one of the great thinker and a poet, and of course, a writer also, a Nobel laureate on that, T.S. Eliot, is mentioning. Let's take T.S. Eliot a bit of it, and then we'll explain what William Shakespeare wanted to tell. Eliot says, I said to my soul, be still and wait without hope. For hope would be hope for wrong things. Wait without love. For love would be love for the wrong things. There is yet faith, but the faith and love and the hope are all in the waiting. Wait without thought, for you are not ready for the thought. So the darkness shall be the light, and stillness the dancing, and whisper of running streams, and within lighting. The wild lime unseen, and the wild strawberry, the laughter in the garden, and echoes, laughter in the garden echoes in ecstasy. As is mentioned, I wonder whether this is what Lord Krishna wanted to mean to Arjuna, as saying, fare forward. You who think that you are voyaging, you are crossing the sea. You are not those who saw the harbor. Meaning you are still in the middle of the sea. You have not seen the shore of the sea. So harbor is far away. You have not seen that. And do not think of the fruit of action. Because you are destined to do the action which Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in the Karma Yoga, that action is something which you are destined to do, because without the action and activities in life, you really cannot survive, and you have to do the actions. But again, when you are doing an action, you don't just look after, or don't at all look for the results of the action, results arising out of the action, which is the fruit of the action. So don't really look for that. And then says, fare forward, O voyagers, O seamen, you who came to port, and you whose bodies will suffer the trial and judgment of the sea, or whatever event, this is your real destination. So Krishna, as when he admonished Arjuna on the field of battle, not farewell, but fare forward the voyages. I'll explain. Then one more, when Eliot in Four Quarters is mentioning, Four Quarters is one of the most important work of, T.S. Eliot. There is mentioned, there is the final addition, the failing, pride or resentment at failing powers, the unattached devotion which might pass for devotionless, in a drifting boat with a slow leakage. Mind it, in a drifting boat which is in the middle of the sea, but the boat is having a slow leakage. The silent listening of the undeniable, clamor to the bell of the last enunciation. I sometimes wonder if that is what Krishna meant to Arjuna. Here, between the healer and father shore, while time is withdrawn, consider the future and the past with an equal mind. And it is actually trying to make a point that when you are actually in the middle of the troubles of the water, in the middle of the problems and prospects of the, of life, you are actually spoiling your energy and time, spending your energy and time of life, every moment. And therefore, when you are trying to cross the sea, when you are voyaging through the sea, you should not go for the pride. You should not go for other things in life. Rather, you should go for the work which is your destined work, a dutiful work, but without any kind of expectations or the fruits arising out of the work. And if you do that, then you are actually doing something which is this cosmic design as mentioned by the divine. Now, in this note, we are referring to William Shakespeare, Sonnet 14. Is mentioning, not from the stars do I my judgment plunk, not yet methink I have astronomy, but not to tell of good or evil luck, of plague, of death, of season's quality, pointing to each his thunder, rain, and wind. Or say with princes, if it shall go well, by your verdict that I in heaven find, but from the eyes my knowledge I derive, and constant stars in them I read such art as truth and beauty shall together thrive. Thank you. If from thyself to restore thou wouldst convert, or else of thee I prognostis, thy end is truth's beauty, beauty's doom, and end of the date in the focus. Now he's coming to a full spectrum of life, the life that is lived for certain things. And now says that initially he was in the middle of things, all the ups and downs, seasons, everything, winds play, for the storms, rains, the deserts, everything was there. But there is a point in life which comes wherein I find that vastness of the truth in life. And when I find that vastness, then only I understand that, oh yes, the love and beauty is there, not here. And I truly understand that I have to go for that, which again, William Shakespeare reiterates in a later piece, wherein he's mentioning beauty is but a vain and doubtful good. Now he's having the for intrinsic question with him. A shining gloss that weddeth suddenly, a flower that dies when first it drinks in the buds, a brittle glass that's broken presently, a doubtful good, a glass, a flower, lost, wedded, broken, dead within us. And as goods lost are self and never found, as wedded glass no raveling will refresh, as flowers dead lie withered on the ground uncared, as broken glass No cement can redress and piece together. As beauty blemished once, forever it's lost. In spite of physic, painting, pains, and cost, I look at you and you only. So, after having spent such a long period in depicting the minds of people, in discovering the seven deadly sins in the minds of people, all types of hazards, all types of vices, all types of things which are actually negative in life, he has traveled and traversed through conspiracy, ill, wish for the others, jealousy, envy, ego, then the killer instinct within, then comparisons, using always wrong things, using always the course of falsehood, trying to defy and reduce or subdue the power and the force of truth, trying to crush the power of fairness. He has traversed and traveled through all this through his drama. And finally, he has done that. He has come to an understanding that in the life, whatever experience I have achieved, I have attained in my life, what I have to do is, at the end of it, I have to look at I have to look at you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what is the description of thy. I don't have any idea who are you actually. I don't have any idea about where is it that you are staying. I don't have any idea that what is your time frame and what is your time point. I don't have any idea what is your dimension. I don't have any idea what is your look. I don't have any idea what is your touch. I don't have any idea about what is your ultimate truth. I have understood only one thing, that I have to realize you. William Shakespeare comes to a positive view, a positive point at the end of it, end of the journey throughout. Barton Russell was explaining the concept of science, and in that he mentioned science is reason, rationality. Science is something which is based on the factual data. Then he revises saying that it's based on the rational parameters. Then he again revises and comes to in the concept of man is described that a man is automatically scientific. Why? Because every biological function, every psychological function has a basis of rationality. Man wants to have a food to, fulfill the belly. Why? Because there is a hunger. The person feels that there is an appetite. Therefore, the person has to take some liquid, some water or something. The person thinks, I need to use the world, I need to see the world, I need to do work in the world. Oh, the light, be gracious and give me light. If you are not available everywhere, I join hands with other men in the world, other people in the world to create artificial light at the point of time, at the moment when the light from the sky is absent. So I am actually now having the basis of something which has got a causal relationship. So when I have a requirement of light, I am aspiring for light. When I have a requirement for, fulfilling my stomach, I have an aspiration for the stomach, food to fill in the stomach. When I am thirsty, I want water to quench the thirst. When I need shelter, I want to build and create a shelter. When I need to proceed forward, I try to identify what could be the multiplier in my walking forward. So I identify vehicles. I identify gradually powerful vehicles. I identify small vehicles to run on the road, manual. I identify things which are powered by the engines. I identify which can cover longer distance in a shorter while through the pathways of the sky. I identify the flying through the sky. I identify things that. So where is the need? Then Russell says, yeah, there was a requirement. The science is feeding to the requirement. That's science. Science is something which is feeding to your requirement. Science is that which is realizing that there is a causal relationship. You are actually meeting that causal relationship. And when you are meeting that causal relationship, you are actually fulfilling that. This is what Bertrand Russell came to the understanding. The dictionary meaning of science is just science is the proven fact which is uttered in the world, which is taken for acceptance in the world. I guess this is a very, very narrow meaning which the dictionaries have provided. Very narrow meaning. All the varieties of dictionaries they have provided. This is not the scope of science. The scope of science is what has been mentioned by Sir Isaac Newton primarily, and Bertrand Russell has echoed to that. And again, if we come to the Princeton University's Albert Einstein's period observation, they have also mentioned the science of understanding. Albert Einstein was having a dialogue. See this Ikeda, Japanese historians had certain questions after the Second World War, destruction of the world, destruction of Japan by the atom bomb, and Einstein was considered the first person because Rutherford could not have gone forward without the support of Einstein and the framework created by Einstein of the nuclear power. So Einstein was lamenting, saying that, oh yes, my scientific understanding and my scientific finding has actually gone to the destruction of human civilization, which was never my thought. I had a thought of the opposite of it. And the opposite was I wanted to create a world which is a better world, beautiful world, finer world with more power in the hand of people for the creative purpose, for the development and betterment of human society. And but then it had occurred the reverse way, and the reverse way is what we observe and we understand that reverse way. I just read out a very recent understanding of the thing from a genealogist, and I have mentioned about him in some places. I've mentioned about this man's observation, and the observation is the observation from genealogical point of view. And what he's saying, let us see, and then we'll discuss. He's mentioning he's a Dian Hama. He is one of the topmost genealogists now present in the world, and is very recent, just a few years. I believe in God. He starts with only I spell in nature, because his belief is that he believes in God and he thinks God is the nature. So whatever nature is there, that's God to him. Fine. Let's see. Are you concerned about protecting animals and plants from extinction? This is a question. He was having a dialogue with a Zen philosopher in Japan, in Kyoto, in Japan. And he was having a dialogue. In this dialogue, he had asked a question that, if I believe in God and my God is nature, and I want that my God is protected. And then I'm asking a question, do you believe that the nature has to be protected? The animals, the plants. Do you believe that that is to be protected? Do you feel a sense of unity with all these things around you? A sense of unity? Do you feel that there should be a sense of unity between you, a dog on the street, a man in the sky, a man beneath the, for mines, doing the works of the mines, a man, for voyaging through the sea, a man, for pulling his oars to cross a turbulent river, a man, working in the field with manual hazards and manual efforts, a man, riding the horse, a man driving a cars, a man writing poems, a man doing research in the scientific laboratory, a man doing teaching in the class of, students, or a man doing nothing but, having a thought for the world or otherwise for himself or herself. Do you think that, you should have some commonality? Do you think so? Would you risk your life to make the world a better place? He had asked the Zen philosophers that would you like to risk your life? If you are, if you like that, even to risk your life to make the world a better place. Would you do that? Would you like to do that? These are some of the questions I have used to assess the second subscale of self transcendence, known as transpersonal identification. Meaning, he has developed a skill. And in the skill, he is trying to identify the mental horizon of the person, of the individual, with the, expected horizons of thoughts. Since he is a believer of nature being God, so his belief is that if somebody thinks that yes, the nature is mine, and I need to have an iota of responsibility for the nature, I need to have an iota of responsibility for the animals. I need to have a responsibility for, uncared things in the world. And if that person thinks that way, then in that case, what I have to do is I have to consider that that man is a man seeking God. Or personally, that man has developed that spirit, which I may call spirituality in life. And he says, the hallmark of this trait is a feeling of connectedness to the universe and everything in it, animate, inanimate, human, non human, anything and everything that can be seen, heard, smelled, or otherwise sensed. People who score high for transpersonal identification can become deeply emotionally attached to other people, animals, trees, flowers, streams, or mountains. Sometimes they feel that everything is a part of the one single living organism. I call him nature. You may call him God. Transpersonal identification can lead people to make personal sacrifice to help others. For example, by fighting against war, by doing a war against poverty, and sacrifices for stopping racism, it may inspire people to become environmentalists in the true sense of the term. Now, here, a genealogist who has discovered that genes have got a component of sensitivity to the thoughts and wish of people. It is actually inherited and also acquired. Part of that is inherited through the thoughts and wish at the, in the beginning, and it's acquired in the process of growing into life. And that's what is his observation, his finding, and awarded the prize. So, this man has now come to a conclusive point that he understands, he declares that I believe in God. But now he explains that my God is this. Now, this is what is the entire spectrum of the civilization in the world that we respect, we accept, and sometimes we consider as a guiding principle for human being to live. On the basis of that, I'm now taking everyone to the spirit of spirituality that has been practiced, that have been in place for the several millennia, for decades of millennia in India, starting from the Vedic period until today, in a kind of dormant manner. Indian spirituality has a fundamental view. What he's mentioning, Genhama, what was there mentioned in the, you know, basic elaboration of scientific thought of Sir Isaac Newton, what was actually visualized by Martin Russell and explained several places, and particularly explained in the context of defining human being, uh, you know, concept of man, and all these are there. But India's spiritual thought centers around a very basic fundamental thought. And that very basic fundamental thought is this entire creation is a creation which is having a kind of impact, influence, and presence of the Supreme Divine in everyone, in every person, in every entity. And it sees that, this ananda or the bliss in life, bliss in the world, which is above your happiness, which is beyond your sorrow. Bliss may pass through the phases of happiness and sorrow in sequence. But again, bliss is a faith, bliss is a love, bliss is a dependence, bliss we call it a devotion. Bliss is something which is based on the faith in a spirit, in the ultimate spirit. And that ultimate spirit, the Brahman, he is present in everything. If we have to consider a form, he is considered as Purushottamaha. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that, this is the Purushottamaha, which is actually inclusive of everything that you find in the world, everything that is present in the universe, everything that is created by the creator in the universe, all of this put together is the, form of the supreme being in the form of Param Purusha, the, this supreme Brahman in one particular embodied entity. And that one particular embodied entity has been splitted among the billions and trillions of souls, billions and trillions of entities across. All are derived from the divine, all have got the elemental divine within, and all are connected with the outside empirical and the intrinsic within. Now, how do we understand? The Indian spirituality says you have to, strive for things which are within, meaning it is outside in, it is inward seeking, it is centripetal. The forces which are centripetal in nature are actually going to contribute to your understanding of the thing. Lord himself is present, and there he is mentioning ভগবানকে সেখানে বলা হচ্ছে যে ভগবান নিজে অন্তরে বিরাজ করেন, তিনি আমাদের হৃদয়ের মধ্যে বিরাজ করেন, তিনি আমাদের অন্তরের অন্তঃস্থলে বিরাজ করেন, তিনি আমাদের অন্তরের অন্তঃস্থলে হৃদয় গুহায় বিরাজ করেন, এবং এই হৃদয় গুহায় তিনি যে বিরাজ করেন, এই হৃদয় গুহায় তার যে বিরাজ, এই বিরাজের মধ্য দিয়ে তিনি এই জগৎকে যেন পরিবৃত করে রেখেছেন। The Lord himself resides within, he himself resides within the cave of the heart of human person, and thereby and thus he is present everywhere, he is present in every entity, he is present in every soul. And therefore, there is no soul, there is no life which is apart from the touch and presence of God. Then the question is, why does it so? Why does it become so that some are not, realizing, accepting, and others are realizing, accepting? Some are, ahead of others, others are not. Why is it so? There is a lot of, description about it. We're not getting into that. But the fundamental point is in that we need to realize that the divine is present within ourselves. And if the body is considered as a chariot and this human person is considered as a chariot, the chariot is moving forward and the chariot is having the Atman, the Supreme in the form of Atman, seated within the cave of the heart of the human chariot. And that Atman is the Supreme seated within, but the chariot is being driven by our mental framework and the intellectual understanding of things, which we consider as supreme and ultimate in life. And this consideration of supreme and, the ultimate in life has actually made us externally oriented, extrinsic in our approach. Therefore, the Vedas, the sages during the Vedic period, they had realized that we need to discover things from within. Now, how does it become scientific? Scientific is a process where if you proceed through a process, you understand the same thing as somebody else seated on the other side of the world has actually understood. So if you want to be seated in Japan and try to understand the supreme truth in the, seated in the nation of the sunrise, and you go to the other end of the world, meaning, it's the middle of the world where the day ends with. And if you go there, you'll, when the sun sets over there, and you find, the truth. If you follow the same procedure, the truth is the same. It is irrespective of your place of observation. It is irrespective of your kind of mind. It is irrespective of your any kind of identity. Whether you belong to the forest or you belong to the, tallest tower in the world, whether you are a, person in the, boating in the sea and, the rivers always doing the fishing, or on the other hand, you are a person always doing the advisory and teaching people on the other part of the world or in the same place, it doesn't matter. Whether you belong to a clan which is considered by others as a very superior, or you belong to a clan which is considered by some as, compared to others inferior, doesn't matter. Whether you have a, kind of work which is adored and which is saluted, or on the other hand, you do a work which is, even, for if in a filthy, in a dirty place, and you have to clean the darts, and it doesn't matter what you do. It is your mind. And the Indian spirituality says you have certain spaces, certain steps. Patanjali came forward to give a structure of this. And he says that there are Ashtanga, 8 different limbs. 8 different limbs. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. These are the 5 steps of preparations. And if you fulfill that, if you fulfill the condition at each stage, then you proceed to the remaining 3. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Yama is actually maintaining certain types of discipline in life and character. The other name of yama is sanyam. It is a containment. For example, a person may become very greedy, eating food without any limit to it. It, brings in disaster. A person becomes very greedy in terms of possessions of resources and forgets about the, fairness of doing that, and it brings a disaster. A person ruptures the fairness of things in the world of work, it begets disaster. So yama is what you have to maintain things in the right manner. You have to create things in the right manner. You have to live the life in the right manner. You have to maintain all aspects of life in the right manner. And if you do that, then it's the second level of advice is that you follow the niyama. Niyama is discipline. It's always better that you follow a particular discipline in life. Your, you know, habit of doing things. Let's say you're developing self-development, things for self-development, things for health maintenance, things for mind maintenance, things for, contributing to the world, things connected with the world of work, things connected with the world of thoughts. All these you do in such a fashion, in a such a way that all these have taken care of yours and taken care of actually the things which you are destined to do. So therefore, when you do that, yama and then niyama, then you have developed yourself. You have gathered a strength. You have gathered a strength of mind and the power of the mind. And with this strength of mind and power of mind, you can now proceed forward. So it says that when you have gathered the strength of and power of mind, you proceed to asana. What is that asana? Asana is, you sit down with a calmness in the mind, try to beget calmness further in the mind. And when you try to beget further calmness in the mind, what you do is you get a mind cleansed of the impurities. What are the impurities of mind? Impurities of mind is, thinking ill of others, thinking bad of yourself and others, thinking and getting indulged in certain things which are not actually permitted, doing certain things which are not good and right, and going beyond the parameters of justice and fairness, departures from truth, departures from satyam and ritam. These are the dirty things of mind, and these dirty things you need to remove. How do you remove? You have to have that confidence in mind, the power of mind, such that you concentrate inside, you focus on your intrinsics in the mind and discipline your mind and try to make the mind calm, still, quiet. And with the mind calm, still, and quiet, what you do is you achieve a condition where the mind is, gradually becoming pure and pure and pure. A pure mind is a condition where you can now think of the good things in the life. Now you can visualize the divine, you can have the divine realization on a platform, background of pure mind. So, yama, nyama, asana. Now, if you have to further go deeper inside, then you do pranayama. Pranayama is alternate nostril breathing with certain procedures which we have discussed. And this August issue of Satyarpath has actually elaborated upon. So, the English article that I've contributed to that, there you'll find the steps of pranayama has been mentioned. And at each step, the pranayama, where it is connected with our Panchavayu and Panchkosha. So Indian spirituality is centered around the prana, manasa, manaha, buddhi, ahankar. Now, prana, manasa, and the cardiac system, rhythm. This three should be tuned together. Now, how to get this three tuned together? When you do pranayama, you have your this panchavayu. This panchavayu is actually feeding to the entire existence, right from the top of the head to the bottommost layer of your feet. And this panchavayu is is actually helping one and also at the same time connecting with the other. It's connecting. It's pranavayu, apanavayu, samanavayu, banavayu, uranavayu. Pranavayu is actually contributing to the vital force of the of life. Now, why is this vital force needed? If you want to concentrate, if you want to focus on something deeper inside your mind, if you want to focus on something deeper inside your mind, if you want to, get into the deeper realm of your mind, you need the vital energy. Now, instead of wasting that vital energy for purposes which are not fair or not required for life or not tuned to that, you devote your vital energy to the purpose of this prana. This prana, bringing that prana to you is pranayama. And pranayama has got other four, elements of air, which is actually supporting and feeding the organs right from the brain until, the exterior of the skin and all the, biological systems within. All the organs, major, minor, and all the biological centers, which has been discussed in this issue, in the, August issue of Satyapad. You can see in the website also. The physical copy, hard copy, of course, and then and the digital copy is there in website www.satyapad.org. Now, this after pranayama is done, then yama, niyama, asana, prana. Then one thing is required. What is that? Pratyahar. Pratyahar is what? Pratyahar is actually getting dissociated from. This is a point which Sri Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar had very, very clear in clear terms elaborated. He says, Neti neti kore Bhagavan ke jante habe. Neti neti is what? Not this, not this, not this, not this, not this, but that. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. This is not what you should want. This is not what you should have a desire for. You aspire for something which is noble. Ritam. Ritam is truth in action. When you follow that elements of truth in action, you find that you are actually in the pathways of God. So what you are doing, you don't have to do the meditation and sit down and wait for the realization of God. You don't have to do that. What you have to do is you have to be withdrawn from the content in the world. So what you do, pratyar? What you withdraw? You withdraw your personal calculations in the content and in the domain of the work in the world. That's why Lord Krishna is advising Arjuna that Arjuna, this gunatraya I have created. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Sattva is something which is contributing to the truth. Rajas is something which is creating the energy and force to get connected, and obviously in most of the cases its direction is apart from truth. It clinges with truth little bit and orients mostly to the untruth. It orients mostly to the enjoyment of life, to the, life now, the time now. And that's what has been mentioned by existentialist spirit, you know, cogito ergo sum. The philosophers and psychologists know this. Cogito ergo sum, Rene Descartes, he had uttered this, saying that, yes, it is you, it is the thing. Because I think, therefore you are. I think, therefore you are. Cogito ergo sum. If I don't think about you, you doesn't have any existence to me. So to me, your existence, and that is true. Whether you exist or not, that is irrelevant. If I consider you to be existent, then you are existing. আমি যদি তোমাকে মনে করি তুমি আছো, তাহলে আছো। তাই জন্য ডিয়ান হামার বললেন, আই বিলিভ ইন গড। ফার্স্টে উনি বললেন, আমি ভগবানকে বিশ্বাস করি। তারপরে উনি বললেন, মাই গড ইজ দ্য নেচার। ওনার গড কি? না নেচার, প্রকৃতি। উনি বললেন, আমার ভগবান হচ্ছে প্রকৃতি। উনি বললেন, আমার ভগবান হলো সেটি যেটি গাছের মধ্যে আছে, লতায় আছে, পাতায় আছে, জলে আছে, বায়ুতে আছে, আকাশে আছে, পাতালে আছে, সমস্ত প্রাণীর মধ্যে আছে, সমস্ত জীবের মধ্যে আছে, মানুষের মধ্যে আছে, পাথরের মধ্যে আছে। यतः वै इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते येन जितानि जीवन्ति यत् प्राणा प्रविशन्ति तद् ब्रह्मनिति. This is what our Rigvedic, sages had said 30,000 years ago. Now people are trying to understand. Now people are trying to visualize that everything has got an elemental presence of the divine. It is not just an elemental presence, it's the presence. That's why it's mentioned, Purnam idam, Purnam adaha, Purnam idam. His Purna is full. It's holistic. He's there Purna. He's full. He's here Purna. He's full. And if in our sense we take away Purna from the Purna, it should be zero. It's not. It's Purna. That means what? It's always full. It's always total. And therefore, if we have to orient to that supreme, then we have to withdraw from the falsehood. We have to have a process of withdrawal. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said neti. Neti is negate, negation. You negate those things which are not contributing to the thoughts of God. Chaturvarga, Chaturashram. These are the fundamental structures of India's civilization. Chaturvarga is what? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma should be the righteousness. Dharma is righteousness. It's not, the rituals of the religion. It's about the spirit of righteousness. And the spirit of righteousness is adhering to truth and maintaining truth in life, which is Ritam. Dharma is Ritam. Follow truth in your life. Then you offer advice to somebody else. Before that, not. Artha, you try to identify the meaning of your life. Why have you lived this life? Why are you planning to live this life? Is this life is only for maintenance and living, or there is a purpose of this life? Identify the purpose. In order to make this, instill this point, the sages have identified the concept of Panchurin. And the concept of Panchurin is the theory of indebtedness. What is that? Is a Devarin, Richirin, Pitririn, Nririn, Bhutarin. What is a Devarin? It's your indebtedness to the gods. The sages have discovered, have identified, have realized that the moment I come on earth, I have a plenty of light, air, everything available for me to survive and grow. God has arranged for all this. So what should be my attitude to that? I should consider that I am a recipient and I should be indebted to the sources of this, and I should be indebted to God. Oh God, you are so kind to me that you have made provisions for my living and growing, Father, by providing the light, the air, the water, everything that's available, my food, everything that's there in the universe. So I'm indebted to you. I offer my. How do you repay? The sages have mentioned is a prarthana and prapatti. Prarthana and prapatti. Prarthana is what? You pray to God. You have a respectful mind to God. You have a respectful mind to the entire creation. What this genealogist has mentioned, that he considers God and nature, fair enough. He could, he may, and that's good. That a scientist of his paramount, magnificent personality, is a great magnanimous personality of his kind, has considered God. He firmly believes that I believe in God and my God is nature. So what? That's good. So he has considered at least God in certain form, and that form is like this. And I appreciate thoroughly, fully, that this man has actually considered the nature to be actually, taken care of. Everything to be actually taken care of. Why? Because I believe that is the God. It's not that without that I am going to perish. What environmentalists are doing? They are doing because of selfish interest. They are spreading the concept saying that if you don't do that, the earth is going to be destroyed. If you don't do that, then survival is going to be a question mark. This is selfishness. And this man has said, no, 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 I don't believe in that selfishness. I believe that my God is the nature. I have a respectful view to the nature. And I'm offering my respect, regard. I'm repaying my respect, regard, to God. So I'm trying to give back my complete surrender to God. And I'm taking an oath that I'm going to take care of these godly things in this universe. And therefore, they were in, I'm trying to meet a bit. Then it says, resident. What is the resident? The prangyaha. Prangya, prangyanang brahmyan. The sages are saying that prangya, the wisdom of the divine, is the representation of the divine, the prangya. Prangyanang Brahman is what? Is the pragya, that's the realization of God, is God Himself. Realization, God comes through the realization. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Manmana Bhavo Madhvakta Madhyaji Mang Namaskuru Mame Vishwasi Satyam Te Pratijane Priyo Osime. He says, Arjuna, you think of me always, always, and always. You have your consciousness connected with me. হে অর্জুন, তুমি আমাকে চিন্তা করো, তুমি তোমার চেতনাকে আমার চেতনার সঙ্গে মিলিয়ে দাও, তুমি আমাকে সবসময় ভাবো, তুমি যে কর্মের মধ্যে প্রবেশ করবে সেই কর্মের মধ্যে আমাকে তুমি খুঁজে নাও। তুমি যখন এটা করতে পারবে, জানবে আমি সর্বদাই তোমার সঙ্গে সেখানে বিরাজমান হয়ে আছি। তুমি জগতে যশস্বী, সবকিছু তুমি তখন প্রাপ্ত হবে জগতে। He was mentioning that Arjuna, I'm there involved in everything. But again, you have to have an, orientation to me in your life. And the moment you find that you are oriented to me in your life and you have attained the spirit of mind within yourself, and that is how you repay. Rishi prajna তুমি পেয়েছো, তুমি কিভাবে করবে? The sages have mentioned Swadhyay and Adhyas. Swadhyay is what? Through process of realization, self-study. You try to have a self-realization. And the concept that psychologists have put across, saying that Abraham Maslow, I'm mentioning the name, it says that man is a needing animal. It's just the opposite. Mr. Maslow is just the opposite. Man is not a needing animal. Man is but a representation of the divine on earth. Is by mistake, is by wrong orientation that human beings have gone for the animal syndrome or animal habits of having aggressive wrong things in life. It's by mistake that they have added to Shararipu, the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moho, Matsarya, Madho, Matsarya. So these vices by mistake have come to life, not by, vices are not the choice, not the desired choice. What is the desired choice? Desired choice is the divine spirit. You think of God and God will correct itself. Then Lord Krishna says, you know, whenever you think of me, I take custody of yours. I take, you take a refuge in me. I take your custody. I take your cause is now becomes a part of my cause. You are now driven and supported by me in all your thoughts and actions until that point when you keep yourself pure, honest, and oriented to truth. Until that point. The moment you deviate, I withdraw. So, that is the point which is Swadhyay. And Vadash is what? Vadash is, creating something again. The sages have discovered the truth. You create also new truth. You identify new truth. Don't just be repetitive. Discover the new truth through your process of realization. It should be true to yourself. So, and then you contribute that to the, living society, and you'll find you are actually repaying to the debts of the sages. Then it says Pitrurin. Now the genealogists have proved the fact that the life is a combination, human life is a combination of the inheritance and acquired, traits. So inheritance is there and acquired traits are there. So together is this life. So you cannot forget that there is an impact of your inheritance. So be respectful to that and try to do something to make that, and that the spirit of inheritance. And then you have got Niridin. You have got, you are indebted to everybody. You are indebted to all human beings on earth. You are indebted to everyone, and therefore should be respectful to others. And then Vutarin, you are, actually indebted to the subhuman species, the ants, the small creatures. They're actually helping in creating and maintaining the balance of this cosmic system. And so be respectful to them, be caring for them. Don't be, aggressive to them, don't destroy their existence. So you be careful, be caring to them. So this is an attitude. This is an attitude of this Pancharin creates an attitude which is, says that you need to be, protective to that. And when it comes to the concept of nature, our sages had visualized that yes, you need to protect this. How? Because we consider that as an element of God. So, what is that? You identify. Yaha Apshuhu, ya Agno, ya Oshodhishu, ya Banaspatishu, Tasmi Devayo Namo Namaha. The sages used to say that, oh yes, the fire, the sun, the light, the illumination, you are my God. I offer my respect and regard to you. And this house, the shrubs, the trees, the creatures, all these are the elements of God. I offer my respect to that. I actually worship in my mind all of these. And if that happens, then what happens? Can you kill your God? Can you cut the tree? Can you replenish it? Can you destroy it? Can you burn it? Can you damage it? You can't. And therefore, it maintains the balance of the universe. That's what Indian civilization had talked in the beginning 30,000 years ago. Now we are actually, trying to have a repetition of something from a different, for selfish point of view. So the sages have actually gone in favor of maintaining this creation. So when you have yama, niyama, asana, pranama, pratyahara, you have identified what is good and what is not. Now you have a dhyana because the truth has to be realized. Experimental truth is a part of it. You can see only a small spectrum of light which is illumined. You can't see beyond. Your instruments can make your vision slightly larger in the spectrum, but you can't see beyond. You can't see through the words. You can't see through the barriers. You can't see the future. You can't see the past in the right perspective. It is all your mind and your colors of the mind that colors it down, and therefore you don't get the truthful presentation of that. So, what do you have to do? You have to do meditation. You be meditative. You be meditative of what? You be meditative of the Lord, the Supreme. And you be meditative of that Supreme, considering that the Supreme is residing in you. So you meditate, focus on that, concentrate on that. Your mind will be a powerful mind. Why? Because your mind is focusing on one single element of thought, and that is a pure thought. And the pure thought focused on one single element of that is actually what the world is, world should aspire for. So dhanam or dhyana is actually taking you to the inward, and at the same time is putting you to the fairness and righteous spirit for the world. So externally you are fair and right, internally you have realization. Together you have got the understanding of total truth. বাইরের জগৎ সম্পর্কে তোমার তখন যে যে মনোভাব তৈরি হবে সেটি একটা প্রকৃতভাবে তার উপর একটা যুক্তিপূর্ণভাবে মনোভাব তৈরি হবে। I keep on telling that, when Narendranath came to Dakshineshwar, যখন নরেন্দ্রনাথ দক্ষিণেশ্বরে সব বন্ধুদের নিয়ে আসতেন ঠাকুরের কাছে, in the initial period, he used to always, cross-examine Ramakrishna. Always try to cross-examine. He says something, Naren tries to, get a proof of that. So he was looking for the, some kind of test according to him. And then he is convinced, so he goes back. Again, any doubt, comes back on the next day. Again, the doubt is cleared, he goes back. Like this. It had happened for some period. After that, he grew his faith in him. When he found that all these tests this man has passed through, this man doesn't have any selfish intent in that. This man is so pure, so fair, so good, so honest. He himself is the truth. He is embodied truth. Therefore, I should be, connected with him. So he is now turning himself. He is now having a transformation. And the transformation is transforming from just critical, just analytical, just rational to a supra-rationality, a larger domain of rationality, wherein he finds that this man is having a truth within and truthful without. So within and without both, this man is having a basis of truth and truth in action. Therefore, I should be connected to this man. And later on, he had considered this person as the embodiment of God the Supreme, and called Avatara Varishthayo, meaning, according to Vivekananda, Ramakrishna is the, superior most, descendant of, the God on earth so far. That was his view. So now, dhyana. Pratyahar, then dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Dharana is prelude to dhyana, and when you are into that meditation, gradually, you reach a state of mind where your consciousness meets the supreme consciousness. And you find that this entire universe is one single truth. This entire universe is representative of one single truth. All the elements in this universe are having an element of truth within, and God is present within. You need to be oriented to that, and you need to, have that experience in your own life, and live a life with this kind of faith. When you're doing a walk, your walk is dedicated to God. Yat karushi, yat asnoshi, yat juhoshi, dadasi, yat tabusahoshi, kaunteo, tat kurusva mat arpanam. Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that, whatever you're doing, you're thinking, you're offering puja, you're doing something, you're doing some good work, anything that you are doing on earth, you give it unto me, and, you consecrate on me. And I am there to take care of your yagaha, shemaha, mahamaham. I take care of your this empirical and the eternal context of your living and your life. So this is what the Indian civilization has actually put across. Indian civilization has worked for truth, worked for welfare, and the truth and welfare for everyone, non-discriminative, no differentiation on any parameters. Indian civilization, the Vedas is saying that everyone, each person is the same as others. So you have that non-discriminative view and think of God. But evils, you have to win over the evils, and you have to be pure within and pure without. Therefore, the person who strives for that is the person who is placed in the science of spirituality in the truest sense of the term. The science of spirituality is the wholesome science, which on one hand has got the science of intrinsics, and on the other hand, science of rationals of outside. So it's the combination of both, and therefore it becomes a complete, total. And the one that we consider as science is a material science, and that's a part of the wholesome truth, not the wholesome truth. The science of spirituality talks about the wholesome truth. A part of it is the realization within, is the intrinsic journey through intrinsics, and the other part of it is a journey in the extrinsic world. Combined together is the total science. That is what is our spiritual science. অধ্যাত্ম বিজ্ঞান হলো এই বিজ্ঞান যেটি অন্তর্জগৎ আর বহির্জগতের এই দুটিকে সমান করে, দুটিকে এক করে নেয়, এবং দুটির পার্সপেক্টিভে, দুটির পটভূমিতে সে ভগবানকে ভাবে এবং ভগবানকে জীবনে বরণ করে। হে প্রভু সচ্চিদানন্দ পরব্রহ্ম সনাতন, এমন মনোভাব স্প্রেড করুক বিশ্বময়, মানব সভ্যতায় সর্বত্র, হে প্রভু। So now we shall have a Vedic chanting again. আমরা এখন আবার বেদ মন্ত্র পাঠ করব, সবাই পার্টিসিপেট করব। We shall now do the Vedic chanting. Please participate. Om Bhagme Manasi Pratishtita Manaho Me Vachi Pratishtita
Om Vagme Manasi
Manosi
Pratishtita
Pratishthitam
Mano
Mano
Me
Me
Bhati
Vati
Pratishthitam
Pratishthitam
Abihi Abihi Medhi
Abihi Abihi
Abhineti
Neti
Vedasyama Anistaha Shrutang Mima Prahasiha
Vedasya
Vedasya
Manitah
Manitaha
Shrutam Me
Shrutam
Ma
Mema
Prahasiha
Prahasiha
Aminoditeno Horatran Sangdadami
Anino Adhiteno Ahoratram Sangami
Ritang Bodhiswami Satyang Bodhiswami
Riyang
Bodhiswami
Bodhiswami
Satyang
Satyang Bodhiswami
Bodhiswami
Tatamamagatu Tadvaktaramagatu
Tatmavatu Tatvakaramavatu
Avadu Mama Bhutavakaram Bhutavakaram
Adu Mama Vatvakaram Vatvakaram
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti Shanti
Shanti
Shanti
Shanti
Om Apayantu Mamangani Bhakrana Chakshu.
Om Apayantu Mama Angani Vak Pranachakshuh
Tamataha Balam Indiani Cha Sarvani.
श्रोत्रमतः बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam.
Sarvyam Brahma Upanishadam
Maham Brahma Nirakuriyat Mama Brahma Nirakaro.
Maham Brahma Nirakuriyat Mama Brahma Nirakarot
Anirakarnamastu Anirakarnamyastu.
Anirakkanamastu Anirakkanamayastu
Namaste Mai Santo Te Mai Santo.
Namaste Te Moi Santu
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidang Purnat Purnamudachyate.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnam Mudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishvati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Sahana Bhatu Sahana Bhunaktu.
Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu
Sahaviriyam Karvavahai.
Sahaviryam Narvavahai
Tejasvi no aditamastu ma vidvishabhai.
Tejasino Adhitamastu Ma Vidvishabhai
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Shangno Mitraha Shang Varunaha Shangno Bhavati Aryoma.
Om Shangnamitraha Shangvarunaha Shangnavavati Aryomaha
Shangno Indraha Brihaspati Shangno Vishnu Rukramaha.
Shangno Indraha Brihaspatihi Shangno Vishnu Urukramaha
Namaha Brahmane Namaha Devayo.
Brahmane Mahadevayu
Tameva प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मसि
त्वमेव
त्वमेव
प्रत्यक्षं
प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मोऽसि
ब्रह्मोऽसि
त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
त्वमेव
त्वमेव
प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म
प्रत्यक्षं
वदिष्यामि
ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
नित्यं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि
नित्यं
गीतं
वदिष्यामि सत्यं
वदिष्यामि सत्यं
वदिष्यामि
वदामि
तद्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु
तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु
तद्वक्तारमवतु
मामवतु वक्तारम्
अवतु
अवतु मामवतु
मामवतु
वक्तारम्
वक्तारम्
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
ॐ
शान्ति
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 शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणां देवा
ॐ भद्रं
ॐ
कर्णेभिः शृण्वां देवा
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 क्षवीययोत्र
भद्रं
भद्रं
पश्येम
पश्येमोऽब्जवीययुत्रहम्
यजुत्रः
तिरयङ्गयितु सुमांशतनोभिः
वीरयङ्गैतुष्वांसतनूभिः
तनोभिः
वशीमदेवहितं यतायु
वशेम
वसेमदेवहीतं
यथायुः
यतायुः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
ॐ
ॐ
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्तिः
We shall now do a meditation for 2 minutes. All of us, wherever we are seated, will do a meditation for 2 minutes. এখন 2 মিনিট দেন সবাই মিলে।
গরম জল করেছে আসলে
তোমাকে কতবার করে যে বলছি সকালবেলাটাতে গ্লাস ভর্তি করে রেখেছি গরম জল করে।
ও আচ্ছা
Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Thank you all. Today we are completing here. We're stopping here. আমরা আজকে এখানে শেষ করছি। আবার আগামী রবিবার বিকাল 5:30 ইন্ডিয়ান স্ট্যান্ডার্ড টাইম আমরা আবার মিলিত হব। সবাই ভালো
ধন্যবাদ
থাকুন।
স্যার, নমস্কার।
সবাই ভালো থাকুন। All
জয়
the
মা।
best. All the best. All the best.